Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's installment of Prop Live, your weekly Q&A prop and costume making technique question and answer session. That's what Q&A means. I'm Bill Doran from Punished Props, and this week I'm not in my shop, obviously. I've moved all of my tools into Rob's living room. We have my twin brother Rob and his wife Jaimi here this week. Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi. And we have Ted, their little baby Ted. Ta-da! Ted, who has at 7 months already has more costumes than most of us. So he's rocking over there with his pail.
How many times has he cosplayed?
4 times.
Yeah.
How many conventions?
4?
3, 4?
3 conventions so far.
Mm-hmm. Like he's gone to conventions and had more than one costume.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
This kid's a
Because
pro.
that's the way you do it.
Pro.
He's wearing one of them right now. He's
Yep.
got his Dragon Age Inquisitor jammies on.
Yeah, he is. Yep. Super.
Although there's been a bit of a breach.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a crotch breach going on there.
He's like, Right,
Brittany's with us. She's over there too. She is wrangling the chat. If this is your first time, or even if it isn't your first time, but you haven't joined in the chat, head on over to punishprops.com/live. We have an IRC channel over there. You can join in the fun. We've been here for the last half hour or so, just chatting with everyone down there. Everyone's sharing their work, the stuff they're working on, and it's really cool. It's a really fun, safe place for you to talk about the things you're making. So head on over there and join the chat. We'll also, of course, be taking your prop and costume making questions. Rob and Jaimi have been cosplaying for quite a long time. You want to share your the big fella right there? We should show that off.
Oh, sure.
For PAX this year, Rob wanted a Destiny costume, so he built a shank. Yeah! Look at that. And it's a hat. You fit it on your head. There, now wear that for the next hour.
I wonder if the batteries still work.
Do you have the tablet in there?
No.
Oh, the light, like the lights and stuff. Yeah. Rob actually put a tablet. Oh, yeah, they do work. Yeah, he put a tablet in there so we could see. It actually works really, really well. Yeah. Yeah, so we're going to be taking your prop and costume making questions like we normally do every single week. If you're joining us live and you head on over to the event page for this Google Hangout thing, there's a Q&A app. You can head on over there. You can post your questions, and then we will answer them for you. And
it's good.
We're just kind of goofing off this week, too. Obviously, we'll take your technique questions. But if you guys want to just have fun and hang out with our family during the holidays, then go for it. We'll be here. What I want to know is what you guys have been working on. I've heard tale of what you're planning on working on for the upcoming year. You have anything you want to talk about?
Sure. We're actually starting one costume for Emerald City Comic Con. I'm going to be unable to attend because I have a robotics competition.
That's right.
And it'll be in Portland this year. So Jamie's going to get a costume, and it is...
I'm going to be Rita from The Edge of Tomorrow.
Rita
Tasky.
There we go.
That's the one.
There it is.
Yeah.
Tasky.
She's got a helicopter.
Yes.
Sword.
So this thing right here.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
It's going to be me.
That looks pretty awesome. You said you guys are wanting to 3D print some of the parts?
Yeah. A lot of the parts,
the
shoulder bits, they actually kind of remind us of engine parts. And I guess they were because these things were actually like 100 pounds each. But we're going to do it out of plastic.
Cool.
And foam.
And foam, yeah. We're going to do the
Brooks,
hybrid.
Brooks Creation has a question for Ted. He says, what's your favorite binky? Ted, do you want to chime in on that?
I thought you said
two.
bikini.
Bikini.
My text is very tiny.
This is a new one, but it's not as favorite.
No,
I think his favorite one is somewhere in... it was with him.
I don't know. It's in there.
All right. Very good.
We do have one with a mustache on it, but it is not a favorite.
So that's pretty exciting. That's a really, really cool costume. I haven't seen, I'm sure many people have done them, but I haven't seen a lot of them.
Yeah.
A couple.
Yep, that'll be neat.
It'll be heavy and warm.
It'll definitely be warm. I mean, she's just wearing like a sweatshirt under there.
Yeah, it's a jacket.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
But that'll be cool. So you said for Emerald City?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I got a lot of work to get done on that one.
But at least, I mean, I don't have one for myself. I'll be looking forward to Dragon Con, but hopefully we'll be able to tag team this thing. So
Super cool, yeah. Any other more casual type things you got planned?
we have nothing but ideas
Yeah.
at this
Yeah.
point.
Oh, that's right. You guys have a baby that you're trying to raise.
So that's the other thing is, we now have a kid to make costumes for, and he's been an Inquisitor, he's been Batman, he's been
Okay, I gotta find a picture of the Batman pictures.
all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
also, real quick, guys, head on over to Facebook, go to Doran Clan Creations, and give them a like because they're awesome. And then you get to see super cool photos like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
I am
And then,
darkness.
Exodus is my favorite. Cool. Yeah, everyone watching, just head on over and give them a like. Not just because I'm related to them, but also because they make really awesome stuff. Actually, it's my favorite.
It's Riddick.
That's Ted's Riddick costume. Pretty much nailed it right there.
Oh,
Oh, it's so
someone I
good.
know had a baby.
Yeah, all right. A lot of that going around these
Dress
days.
him up. Put him in a costume.
Yeah. Cool. I see a couple of people. CS Cosplay throwing us a question. We'll get to questions here just in a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of housekeeping beforehand. And if you're watching live, then use the Q&A app, and it's really easy for me to manage all the questions. They show up on the side of my screen over here. Yes, Ted.
The app doesn't work for him in particular.
It doesn't have. Oh, that's weird. We'll try and get to your.
When they watch it through YouTube, I don't think they have it.
Yeah, you have to watch it through the event page. That's how it's done. What are we working on, Britt?
What are we working on?
Britt started work on something today that's pretty exciting. We're doing a box from the game Hearthstone.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty neat. Britt did the emblem, the Hearthstone emblem, in 3D printed. So you modeled that in Maya, right? Yeah. So the 3D model was knocked out in Maya and then printed. We don't have pictures of that up yet, do we?
Nope.
No. We're going to CNC some of the parts. We're going to mold and cast the whole thing. It should be really fun. Rob's probably going to want one of those. Huh?
Maybe.
Actually, a phone case. I'm sure they already make them, but a phone case that looks like the Hearthstone thing would probably
haven't even checked.
probably make sense since you play on your phone all the time,
That's
right?
true.
Yeah.
Probably already exists.
Stone phone case. Let's see here.
Let's see. There's
But
probably 700.
Yeah, the one we're gonna make. I think they're actually giving these away at BlizzCon. Yeah, the one we're gonna make is gonna be box size, like you can put stuff in it. And then I've been working on the Jade Rabbit gun from Destiny. So I'm doing a phone version of that for a new book.
Not to be confused with the Jade Hammer.
The
Hammer?
The Jade Ham.
Hammer.
What's
Yeah.
that?
The ham mace that I made.
Oh yeah.
Dragon Age.
Someone did a Jade Rabbit recently, right? Like a 3D print one.
I did see one.
Do you remember who that was? Let's see. I'm just gonna look up 3D printed
We put in the Destiny group.
Jade Rabbit. No, that didn't work.
There's
There's a Destiny. For those of you, the Vanguard, I believe it's called. For those of you watching who are into Destiny cosplay, there's a group called the Vanguard that you could possibly join, and it's a bunch of Destiny cosplayers. There it is. So NimsCrafts did this Jade Rabbit, which looks really cool, and I'm building one of my own, all out of foam for our new book. So that's pretty good. Brooks Creation says, how soon till the book comes out? It'll be another month or two. We're going to get it printed, and we're going to be using a different process for printing, and there's a lot more lead time. So it'll be another couple months. But look for that in January or February, I think. Cool. So that's what we've been working on. Other than just getting ready for the holidays, we made some little doodads. Actually, can you grab that, Jamie? We made tiny little, here, I'll put it in front of the TED cam. Tiny little Nuka-Cola bottle ornaments as gifts for our friends and family. Ta-da!
Oh,
So that was really fun.
Friends
Yeah.
and family.
Love you guys, but I don't have to like you.
What you do.
Yeah.
We're going to do some electrical work, too.
Mm-hmm. That's
Yeah.
right. So Rob knows stuff about electronics. I was the art guy. He was the science guy, or am still. But we're planning on doing some projects, enhancing props with like lights, moving sounds, electronics. Rob's going to help me out with that. We'll probably do some videos on our YouTube channel, which should be really fun.
We'll do that with your
The space gun? Yep.
these space guns.
Should be super neat. What else was there? I think that's about it before we start taking some questions.
Ted has opinions.
Ted has opinions.
Yeah. All right, then let's start.
Can you
We'll grab the.
What that sound means?
Let's see here. I'll grab this question that CS Cosplay gave earlier. Let's see. Hey, Bill, I'm going to try and make a Falcon costume, and I was wondering if you had any ideas for the wings. So when you say Falcon, I'm not sure.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Ah,
I was thinking Peregrine, actually.
let's take a look at the
They look awesome.
his
The
winglings.
trailer when he does like a spinny kick and kicks.
Yeah, that's a good
people.
move. That's a
Yeah,
good move.
you should probably work on that first.
I love
before the
this.
wings.
I love this picture because they photoshopped his chest to be massive compared to his teeny little ant legs. Personally, I make those out of foam. You know,
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people that do wings with a kind of rig system for getting them to extend. There is a bit of engineering involved in
But I
it.
don't
I've
think
never
you
done
need
it.
to like fold like.
Yeah, you could even just have like loops on them that you just put your hands into and then
Yeah.
move them around a little.
yeah. It depends on if you want them to be static or not. It'd be way easier to make them not extend.
Yeah.
They could just—they're almost like a cape.
Yeah.
Right? You could have them hinge at your shoulders so you can move your arms out a bunch. But they seem like they're pretty flexible in the movie.
And otherwise, they're just like a backpack.
Yeah, so you
Jetpack thing.
build a jetpack thing, of course, all out of foam, like
Mhm.
you would, or build it off of an existing backpack, and then make your wings out of just sheets of foam, like overlapping sheets,
Yeah.
and then you can fly.
Yes.
Obviously.
So there you go. There's at least one way to do it, although the wing issue is something that can be solved many different ways. Isn't that right, Ted? Very insightful. All right. All right, let's grab another question. These ones came in earlier. By the 9 Designs wants to know, if you could design yourself a workbench to fulfill the needs of your business, what would it look like? Would you have integrated storage, power, something else entirely? Well, to benefit my business in particular, it would probably have a paper shredder. It would probably have a box of store receipts.
Don't you have a shoebox for your receipts?
I have several shoe boxes for my receipts, one for each year.
A swear jar.
I have a swear jar. Yeah,
Like your tool bunch has evolved over the years.
it really has. Yeah, like it's gotten to the point now where I do want to build new ones with the specific purposes in mind. But I just keep like nailing stuff to it and adding more storage.
Drawers and little-
Yeah, I added a drawer underneath it for like all my flat measuring tools and everything. What about you then, Rob? Like your dream workbench, what do you think it would have on there?
I think my biggest problem is like wire management, like cable, like for all the crap that I have plugged in. It's always an issue. Like behind anyone's TV is always a disaster, which is fine back there, but for a workbench, it's not fine. Like especially if you're waving or soldering iron around. I think mostly what I need though is like much bigger horizontal surfaces.
Yes.
Like lots and lots of that.
What's funny enough is like the thing I want more than anything, and we have enough square footage in our shop, but you can always use more.
Except for height.
That's irrelevant. That's fine with me. But we don't have any wide enough open spaces that I can have a big table that I can walk all the way around.
Oh yeah, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
We did some sewing last week for our Jedi robes, which meant that our big space that we could walk around was our bed.
right. And then you got to take everything off of that to go to sleep there. And then you're like, well, I'll just
You
sleep on the
just don't
couch.
sleep.
Yeah.
You just don't sleep.
Yes. So yeah, a big table I can walk around. How about you, Jamie? What sort of things are you looking forward to for if you had your druthers?
Yeah, I like the idea of a big table. Like when we went to visit Aunt Diane, her sewing table.
Oh
It
yeah,
was just
It was massive.
And there
chest
was,
height.
yeah, and you didn't have to like Or
Belly button.
anything.
Yep,
It was
yep.
all up high.
Drop electric
Ooh, yeah.
right over those sort of things.
That's actually something that I found between because most of the work that we've done is either been in an apartment or on an apartment balcony or at an actual shop. And I find that if I'm doing work at home, I'll more often than not just be bent over something too far.
Yeah.
Just because whatever I'm working on, it's not the right height.
Right.
It's not the right place. So instinctively, I'm just like hunched over. And even when I go
Work like this.
into a shop, like if I'm in your workshop, I find myself doing that out of practice.
Yeah.
And the reality is, like, if there is a properly heighted workbench, you shouldn't be stooped over it. You shouldn't be like
Ted can.
Ted. Oh, Ted.
Are you sure it wasn't Pip?
Yeah.
I'm very
it was-
sure if it was Pip, we'd all be
we'd
dead.
Yeah, you know what's funny too? I set up because we're shooting photos for our new book as I'm building these things. So I took one of our bigger tables and just covered it in. I got a really big cutting mat. It's the size of the whole table.
Yeah, that's nice.
I put a backdrop there. I put a bunch of lights there. I set all this stuff up for foam fabrication just for shooting photos for the book. There's just a ton of light, ton of space. And as I was working, I'm like, why don't I work like this always?
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Leave it like that.
Really big
Yeah.
cutting mat, like
Yeah.
the self-healing kind.
Yeah, they make their. We'll link to it in the show notes. But you can get some really great cutting mats. They're not too expensive, and you can get them in such a variety of colors and sizes that you can get one that matches both your workspace and your personality.
Yes.
Do they have Lego print ones?
I don't know.
Ted said.
Yeah, he's pissed about it. All right, cool. This one's from Sam over at Bio Cosplay. He says, "Hey everybody, what was your favorite project to work on this year? What was your least favorite?" You guys did actually a pretty good handful of projects this year. You were kind of in a rush before this fella showed up to get a bunch of them done.
Yeah.
Ted's your favorite project.
Oh, this guy.
You wouldn't believe
Coincidentally, also the least favorite.
the sanding that went into it.
So much sanding. Can't see
You
any
printed
seams.
that guy.
Yeah. The original 3D printer, the uterus. So what was your favorite costume, let's say? I mean, you did a bunch of work on Iron Man.
Yeah, that was for Endless City last year. I did a lot of the electrical work. I'd say most recently, the most fun I had was making. We did some Final Fantasy costumes. So I made a couple of staves that had some interesting lighting effects in it, and I was going for a black mage effect that had the yellow eyes with the darkened face. And I just really, really, really liked how that turned out with not trying to make something that was totally 8-bit, but also not trying to make something that was completely realistic, but doing my own kind of interpretation with it.
Yeah, and people see it, they get it right away. They know that it's that guy. I'm trying to find it.
We have.
Naturally, I don't have any
There
photos
might be
of it.
on like a regular Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not going to dig through that there.
Just hunt through it there.
I liked working on Ted's costumes.
Yeah.
Because they're really small, so you don't have to invest a lot of time. Because it's like done.
Oh, jeez.
It's about that time.
He is just tearing wind over there. Look at this kid, no shame whatsoever.
What?
None whatsoever.
What?
All right. So Ted's are your favorite thing?
Yeah, because they're small, easy to finish, and you get a lot of bang for your buck because you walk around a convention and people are like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!"
Because he was a drunken Moogle. Yeah, pretty good. My favorite had to be the District 9 rifle because it was really fun to make. It was very challenging. Brittany and I learned how to make a matrix mold, sort of a trial by fire right there, but we did it. We got to work on that together. It's one of the first big things Brittany and I worked on together when she quit her day job. And I got to go to San Diego Comic-Con and show it off with the testing guys. And,
Alton Brown held it.
and let Alton Brown follow my rifle. So that was my favorite. Least favorite, I'm not going to talk about it.
Least
I don't-
favorite.
I don't want to badmouth any of my projects.
I don't necessarily have like my projects are fun.
I will. I know.
We have like bad moments.
Yeah.
Like I was doing electrical work on my Iron Man gear and just straight up grabbed the hot end of the soldering jig. Just like the skin just turned white instantly, and then the pain was just indescribable.
Mm-hmm.
Mold Star 15. It's my least favorite project.
Yeah, you know what? We've had some ups and downs using different types of silicone. Platinum cure silicone, just curing inhibition usually. That's the big pile of sadness. But we persevered. Mostly by just switching to tin cure silicone.
I think some of my least
Thanks, Sam,
favorite
for the question. Oh, go ahead.
Sewing projects, because like you're like everything is good, and then like you flip it over and there's like just a giant bird nest underneath. You're like, how did what? And then you have to undo everything. And
although our Jedi robes that we made, those, I mean, we rock those. Those very few.
Just don't look at the inside.
No, don't ever do that. Yeah, fun story. I was learning to do all this electrical work while I was mentoring our robotics team, and they don't hire, but they have volunteer parents and people from like Renton Technical College, Microsoft, Google, all around. They come in, so we have like professional electrical engineers. And I'm working on this Iron Man helmet, and the one guy is like, "Hey, what you working on?" And I'd be like, "Nothing. Don't look."
You'll be so disappointed.
You just move right along there.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Noah. He says, "Is epoxy or polyurethane resin better for Papakura?" You used neither. You used polyester. You used fiberglass resin specifically for your Iron Man, right?
Yep. A lot of it.
A lot of it. Yeah. Now the thing with polyester is that it's pretty toxic. Epoxy is not as bad, apparently. I've heard that it can be. Either way, work in a well-ventilated area. I think if I were going to do that again, I would use EpoxACoat and EpoxAmite, the same stuff we use for making mold jackets for matrix molds.
I used that because it was at Home Depot for a gallon for cheap.
Yeah. So. But I think if there was more planning involved, and if I had my druthers, I would, and because I have more experience using it now, I would go with the EpoxACoat. Is used for like gel coats and stuff, and then EpoxAmite is for laminating, like with your fiberglass resin.
Well, what did you use on that bleach helmet?
That was the EpoxACoat and EpoxAmite. Those are both smooth-on products. We'll link to both of those in the show notes.
That's pretty much the same process that I did with the.
Yeah, the process is almost exactly the same. We used that for the first time on that helmet, and I was like, "What have I been doing with my life?" That's our buddy Frank. Actually, Frank Ippolito. He got to work on some Star Wars stuff, which was really cool. Frank is like the mold guy. So if you want to see some really pretty molds, actually, let's do this real quick. Instagram.com/Frank Ippolito. Let's just check out Frank's Instagram real quick. So like there he is working on a mold. This is a mold that he used on for the Star Wars creatures, for the hollow chest thing. And that's how he made these molds here, because it's the best. But if you want to see some really pretty molds, Frank's the guy.
Yes, I love them.
Lots of real. I mean, he's good at lots of other stuff, but
Professor Farnsworth.
The Farnsworth is really, really great. Creepy. I can't find any molds. Let's see, like that. That's the back of it. But anyway, that's some good stuff. There you go. That question came to us from Noah, and that's my recommendation. All right. Let's see here. Next one comes from Joseph. He says, "I started a business called Insane Armory in the summer up to Halloween. I've sold a lot, but now I have not sold anything. I have made paid advertisements and even tried to get free products to others to advertise, but no luck. How do I sell more?" Well, when you figure that out, Joseph, you let me know.
Got nothing.
Yeah, that's tricky. because as you lead up to Halloween, you have people wanting props and costumes for Halloween. You need to get yourself in front of the markets and the fans, the enthusiastic people who are interested in the type of work you're making. So early on for me, it was Mass Effect stuff. As you can see, I like Mass Effect. I was making a lot of Mass Effect guns, and I was very active in the Mass Effect community. So people in that community who wanted the sort of things I was making knew I was the guy to go to for that. So if you have a handful of things that you like to make that you figure other people who are fans of that would like to buy, you need to put yourself out there in front of them. Check out forums for specific video games. Look at the rpf.com. They have a place called the Junkyard. That's where people go to sell castings and kits of the stuff they're making. They really like lots of stuff for movies, especially anything from Back to the Future or Ghostbusters or Star Wars. Those are all really, really popular. So the Junkyard on the RPF is a really great place to look. What else? And then try getting your stuff out on Reddit. If you have so again, there's a Mass Effect subreddit. You can go. They're kind of picky about how you post stuff there, so read all of the rules for different subreddits. But that's another great place to go to get your work in front of the people who might want to buy it.
You just want to grab him.
Yeah. So there you go, and be persistent. It's just a lot of work to get your stuff out, and lightning has to strike. A friend of ours was running an Etsy store, and it was like cool. She was selling bath bombs, and then someone on Tumblr, I think, bath bombs are like little fizzy things you put in there, and they
explode.
So she makes these geeky bath bombs, and she was selling like a handful every now and again. It got relinked to hell and back on Tumblr, and then she was like backlogged for 2 months with orders. So. Sometimes lightning has to strike, but you have to set yourself up for those sorts of opportunities. Hopefully that was helpful to you, Joseph. Good luck. Good luck to you. All right. Fearless Facade wants to know, what cool new shop toys do you want for Christmas? Hey Patch is asking you a similar question. What do you want for Christmas? If you like a new tool? Anything, any cool new shop tool, what do you think? Don't even worry about it being in your apartment. Imagine you have all the space for it. You have all the power requirements. What do you want?
I think I would likely go for a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good one. You could even, those are great because you could totally have it just in your.
Yeah, that would work. That works for a friend of ours that does all of his work out of apartment. Got a Lulz bot.
Who's that?
Right? Thomas.
Oh yeah, Thomas. Yeah.
Yeah. Same kind of thing. That'll work. Granted, you can't do all the work. You need to finish them somewhere if you're going to paint them, whatnot. Yep. But as far as doing the main fabricating work, you can do that in an apartment.
Yep. I'll tell you what, too. If you set up in an apartment with a 3D printer and a little airbrushing booth and just use like acrylic paints and stuff, you could totally do all that in a small apartment. You could 3D print the pieces. You could finish them a number of ways. You could use like XDC 3D to smooth it and fill it out the way you want, and then just paint it with an airbrush. You're good to go.
Yeah,
that'd be a really fun way to do it. How about you, Jamie?
Maybe a new sewing machine?
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Like a really awesome one?
Yeah, but I feel like I need to still level up my sewing before I'm allowed to have like a really good machine, because I wouldn't do it justice.
Wasn't there one where you could just feed 2 pieces of cloth in and it would just automatically seam them? That's the one I want. Yeah, it's got like two foots that line it up. Feet. Yeah, feet. Yeah.
You were talking about one that has like gears that so like it won't go too fast, because that's always like ours right now. It's 100 miles an hour or none.
Yeah.
Like,
keep in mind it is 60 years old.
Yeah.
How about an embroidery machine?
I don't know that. No. I mean, they're cool. I would make things, but I don't.
Just a really sweet ass. Yeah. I don't know if it exists. I want a sewing machine that requires zero maintenance.
Yeah, you just push buttons.
Yeah, that I can just feed full sheets of leather into and never have to worry about it. I don't need it to do any of the zigzags or anything. No. I just need a needle that's this big around to just go ka-chunk, 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 ka-chunk.
Well, that's like what ours is now. It doesn't go. it doesn't do zigzags. It literally only goes forwards and backwards and one width. Like you can't change the spacing or anything. So it's like
Second Nature Effects wants to know, is that a T16 or your lamp stand there, Rob?
It's the one that I used to bullseye womp rat.
Yeah, it is. There you go. And there's a land speeder above it.
Want to see a cool thing? Can we switch to, since Ted's over here? There is a 3PL cookie jar.
Yeah.
That was a gift to our aunt from George Lucas.
Yeah.
From George.
From George. Yeah, it's
just George.
Just George.
What do we want for Christmas? Brittany and I were just at the hardware store, just being like, want new sockets. I need new socket wrenches. I need new wrenches. I need new that magnet thing. I need that. We are kind of running low on big things to get, which is great. I just paid this month's credit card bill.
Ooh.
It was rough.
You have a planer? Can you do any planing?
We don't really have any reason. I'm just picturing what would happen if I fed a sheet of foam into an electric plane.
Oh, you want this happen?
Just snow, just foam dust on the other side of it.
I like a better sewing machine.
Britt, yeah, a good sewing machine would be great.
It's pretty good though.
They're little, mostly like we have all the tools we need. I just want better versions of them.
Yeah.
But let's just go look at my Amazon wish list for a second. Let's see what's on there. Because why not? Oh, look, I have a wish list. Where is it? Your lists. Tools, 19 items. All right. That is a. This doesn't show any personal information. No, cool. All right, that is water mixable oil paint. I want more of that. I have some. I want more. That's an ultrasonic cleaner.
Jewelry cleaner.
Yeah, but I want it for cleaning airbrushes.
Oh, sure.
That's for making stuff. That's paint. That's a different airbrush that I want. There's a saw that I want. That's one of these automatic self-adjusting wire strippers. So you just feed a thing.
Those are nice. And it goes like meow.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool.
Yeah. This is a new soldering iron. I desperately need a new soldering iron. That's on there.
I do too.
A third-party fence for my bandsaw.
That's a pip
Pip.
And like right too.
So for example, I have a disc sander, but this one is so much nicer. And I have one of these, but this one's nicer. Mostly, I just want upgrades for the stuff that I already have. Let's see. Chibi Gunner says, I use a Juki sewing machine, and it sounds like that. Like what? That's what you want in a sewing machine. Juki, Juki. Let's look that up. Juki sewing machine. Juki.com. Juki sewing machines. Cool.
Fancy.
That looks pretty neat. Quality, reliability. Those two things.
Whoa, that looks like too much.
Yeah, keep the lid on.
Yeah, I don't want to know how it works.
No. If you look,
awesome.
if you know how it works, it stops working.
Like
I get worried when it says ordering info.
There's no price.
It's just like, oh, just give us a call and we can talk about it. I'm like, I'm not gonna like what they have to say.
Yeah, see, like I feel like I haven't earned that yet.
No, that looks like. Actually, I think I saw that in Empire Strikes Back. It's one of the ships. Yeah.
Thank you, Hey Patch, for your question, and also the kid upstairs. Also, Fearless Facade. Thank you for the questions, you guys. All right. Do we sound like that to the people below us?
I don't think so.
No.
Like,
because I do kind of walk. I'm not graceful.
No, they're deliberately stomping.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from Carlos. I have a specific question for Bill.
oh, okay.
Have you ever thinned the Angelus leather paints and sprayed it through an airbrush? If so, what can be used to thin it down? You can look up online. People make up their own acrylic thinner. There's a lot of different, varieties and recipes for making your own acrylic thinner. Angelus Paints has their own acrylic thinner. So Angelus leather paint. And unfortunately, it comes in bottles about this big. So because I bought a couple of them, but they're teeny tiny. But you can, like I said, you can just go get theirs. Let's see here. Thinner. That paint.
Yeah, I know.
You can paint shoes. Too thin. This is what it's called. So Angelus has their own. It's called Too Thin. It is their own thinner for their acrylic paint.
1 ounce. So there's in the bigger.
4 ounce.
4 ounce.
Yeah, you can get 1 or 4 ounces. Pint, quart, gallon.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, gallon sold out. But all they had at the store were the 1 ounce ones. It's like, just bought mine. I was like, glug, whole thing. You can thin with lots of different stuff too. For model paints, like with Tamaya model paints, I like to thin those with some rubbing alcohol, with like 99% isopropyl rubbing alcohol. If you want it to dry really fast, because it's thin enough to airbrush it, and then it mostly evaporates on the way to the thing you're painting, and then it dries really fast. So there are some options for you, Carlos. Angelus Direct is the place to go for the thinner they have, or your local leatherworking store. And Jamie, you should totally buy some. Like, go to the secondhand store, just buy some shoes. And I have a crap ton of different.
I'll just come down to your house.
Yeah, if you guys are going to come down anytime
all
this
your
week.
Paints,
yeah.
And then steal your super glue.
No. No, that's a stoning offense right there. Cool. So thank you, Carlos, for the question. Wonder what you're making. Nick here from Squibby Cosplay has a question for us. He also has a picture. All right. I'm going to roll the dice in this picture, and hopefully it's not meat spin. Need to copy and paste it, though, because I don't know why. That works. Okay, it's a gun, everybody. Everyone chill out. It's just a gun. It looks like the one from, McCree's gun from Overwatch. He says, I have made McCree's revolver from Overwatch. I modeled and 3D printed and finished it, and is now ready for molding so I can make casts. What type of silicone is good for doing gun molds? There's images of the gun. That looks super neat. Let's see. Oh, there's a couple more. There's a whole process. That looks like the same 3D printer I have, or at least similar. That looks really great.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. It's a multi-part kit there.
This is why I want a 3D printer.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you could even do molding and casting here too. I would go with something simple like Mold Max 30. It's kind of hard to go wrong with that. It's a tin cure silicone. It cures when you look at it. You don't have to worry too much about it not curing. What else is there? It's not cheap. I hesitate to say cheap, but it will cure for sure. It's really good at that. And 30 is a good shore hardness for pieces like that. You've done just the glove and the helmet, right?
Molded?
Yeah, the molding.
Yeah.
What did you do with for the helmet?
What did I use?
With silicone?
I have no idea.
Was it the pinkish?
Pink. Yeah.
Okay. It looked like the goo from Ghostbusters.
Yes,
2?
it did.
That's Rebound 25. It wasn't for the helmet. That was a good one to use. But if you had a bunch of like Mold Max 30, that would have been really good too. So Smooth On makes them. Tap has a silicone RTV that's really good. Tap Plastics. So we'll link to those in the show notes. But Mold Max 30. That's what I recommend usually. It's pink. Looks like Pepto. Good luck, Nick. Oh, our buddy Kevin. Kevin, who I believe it was just his birthday. So happy birthday to Kevin. Let's see here. He wants to know, I loved your twin hawk costumes you did a few years ago.
Good times.
Yeah. I'm going to find a picture of that. Rob, do you want to read the rest of that question while I look for...
Let's see. And your Dr. Ned and Dr. Zed Borderlands costumes. Any future costumes to take advantage of your twinness?
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I have ideas.
I do have ideas.
I would like to eventually do a prestige pair of costumes. Red rubber ball, identical costumes, and then just
stand around.
Just stand behind two different doors throwing the ball around. I think
that would be pretty awesome. We have a shared Google Doc for that, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
We gotta write that one down.
Also, don't you have a video of you guys prestiging?
Yeah, I'd have to go find that. It's on Vine or something.
I'm on it.
All right, let's see. Okay, here we go. There. Let's see if I can replace this picture from a couple weeks ago, which is awesome, with a different one. which is photos. Come on, shorts. There it is. Boop. There you go, you guys. There is our Hawk and Hawk costumes that we did quite a few years ago. And do you still have yours?
No, I didn't.
I don't either. That's one I'm probably going to want to redo at some point. I really want to do the twins from the Old Republic.
Yep.
I was thinking like Tomax and
Xamot would be fantastic, but I really, really, really want to do these guys right here. Yeah. Which one would you be?
The one that doesn't get his face all carved up.
Yeah, I was thinking we
pre-face carve.
Pre-face carve, I think would be a good one.
Not a bad idea.
Yeah, I like that a lot. But we have like it's tricky because our schedules are so not aligned. But we definitely want to do more twin costumes. I like the idea of one of us being Clark Kent, one of us being Superman, and then just standing near a pillar at Dragon Con, and every time anyone walks by, Clark Kent jumps behind it, and Superman instantly jumps out. Like, I think that would be fantastic. I like the performance art.
Yeah.
Kevin also says happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, Kevin. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Happy birthday.
Back to you, Andy.
Back to you, Ollie. that would be another good twin costume.
I would Louise for that.
Yeah.
Make you guys do like shell art.
Weirdo Effects wants to know, I was wondering how Bill handled the pressure of starting out with the responsibilities or duties of rent, still maintaining a respectable commission cost. How did I handle it? Not great. I didn't sleep very much.
So at the time you had like an ulcer.
I didn't actually have an ulcer, no, but I had a lot of digestive issues. Let's see here. He says, I recently started full-time and I've been running myself exhausted, working in 90-hour weeks for low-cost commissions because every time I give a reasonable estimate that I can justify people something lose contact advice. I'll tell you what, I haven't finished it, but I just started reading a book called The E-Myth. We'll just look it up. It's called The E-Myth Revisited. That's about running a small business. The main problem that most small businesses fall into is that you are a skilled person. You have a skill that you want to apply. And if you work for someone else, not a problem. You just show up and do that skill every day. When you're running your business for yourself, that technician, the skilled individual, is only one part of the equation. You have to have a manager, you have to have an entrepreneur, you have to be all those people. And it's really, really hard to juggle all those roles appropriately, especially because you're good at one of those things and you're bad at everything else. So yeah, go check out that book. I just started it. It comes highly recommended. It's really good. It's called The E-Myth Revisited. But in general, you just got to keep putting out really good work. And your living arrangement makes a huge difference. For us, we run a really lean ship. We don't have expensive hobbies. We don't have any of these little fellows here. No one is relying on us for sustenance.
The cats.
The cats are fine.
They built up enough.
Yeah, they could get by for a couple months. Yeah. So there you go. Keep at it. Good luck.
So don't have kids.
Don't have children.
It's the take home.
Well, we don't have any debt. Our car's paid off. Our student loans are paid off. That helps a lot.
That would be nice.
Aha.
You also did a live stream talking about the transition.
I did actually. A couple weeks ago, I did a live stream kind of going through my whole process. Let's see here. Oh, CS Cosplay says, "Can I be the one behind you?" I don't know what you're
In
referencing.
the Star Wars picture.
There's the army guys
I
behind
wanna
you.
be the
Oh, sure.
soldiers.
That would be kind. If we had the two of us plus a whole army of guys behind us, that'd be fantastic.
Walking in slow motion.
Would they have
Yeah.
to be clones? Are they clones?
They have helmets on, I think.
I know, but like, does height matter?
I mean, they could slouch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
That's what I
I'm 5'6". Everybody has to come down to me.
All right. Let's see here. Another question. Oh, that last one was from. Oh, yeah. Weirdo Effects. See, this one comes in from Sam. Different Sam, not Bio Cosplay Sam. He says, I just wanted to say that you are awesome and super inspiring. Thank you, Sam. I think you're pretty neat too, even though we just met.
How do you-
I've been going down the rabbit hole of your prop making and built a set of gloves from a Papakura model, but I'm having a hard time figuring out how to go about molding and casting them. Hey, Rob, that sounds like something you did.
Yeah, so I did Iron Man gloves, which meant I needed to make, like, I think 18 tiny molds of all the individual digits.
Yep.
And I did pep them all out completely.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did one mold for the hand, the palm and back
yeah.
of the palm part. One big one. Well, two, I guess.
One for each
One
side.
for each hand. And then all the digits I could at least copy left to right, so I didn't have to make 36 of them.
And
But-
I did a similar thing, and I made the index and ring finger the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you
Yeah,
do
I
that,
did.
or-
I did a little bit of that as well.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't know.
So I only
remember the
needed
numbers
12
exactly.
molds for the fingers instead of.
But I did
15.
either way. You end up with a bunch of little molds. I think we actually cast or made the molds in like a tube,
Yeah,
Of some
like
kind.
toilet paper.
Yeah.
paper tube.
Yep.
and then slush cast them all individually, and it was incredibly tedious. I had to make sure that I had all the different finger parts labeled, I guess, or identified in one way or another, so that when I had like a big mess, and I made I think 2 pairs of gloves at once.
Yeah.
And we just had a giant mess of things. But I had cups labeled, and
Or if you go back up to the.
This one
yeah,
here.
there you go. There's a close up of it. But yeah, that's how I did it.
Yep.
Lots of tiny little molds started
Yeah.
with Papakura, and I still have them. And eventually, when I'm going to need a new set of hands.
Yep.
I have
You can
molds.
totally knock them out. You can even use those as the base for a completely different set of armor.
Yeah,
You
you
I
could-
did.
did too.
Well, I mean, like you could cast those fingers and then sculpt stuff on top of them, like use epoxy sculpt and sculpt different. Like even a those fit on your fingers, which is the vital part. You could make them like look medieval or more organic too, using those as sort of a platform.
Yeah.
We did something very similar with the Kaijudo Gauntlet. I made that was almost 2 years ago. We have a full video on that too on the YouTube channel. You look up Kaijudo, or we'll put a link in the show notes. Very similar process, but that is how we did it.
I did. I did it for my Jor-El costume. I just sanded off
Yeah.
the palm part.
Yep.
And I had them for my cover.
Rescue suit.
Yep,
Yeah.
the rescue suit. Very good. Let's see here. Another one from Joseph. Let's see. This is 2 parts too. I need to.
Ooh, oh.
Is it? I don't
One
see
of-
part.
one of 2?
Don't see part 2.
Okay.
We'll go with what we've got. Hi, Doran Clan. I want to make a specific armor from scratch, but there are no 3D resources or action figures available. The only image sources are from the actual anime. Plan on making a 3D model and converting it to Papakura. Yeah, you're gonna have to do a lot of guessing. So with your Iron Man, there were already Papakura files available.
There were,
right?
yeah.
That's always a treat. What about Rescue?
Yes.
There were a lot of there
Modify
weren't
them.
as many versions to choose from,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
With some of the other things that we've done, though, like with video games, it can be easier because you can actually go in the game and flip about. But with other things where you just don't see the back side of something, or you're trying to do a shank and they're always facing you,
Yeah.
so you got to get.
Or an anime where they just cheat perspective all the time.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
like World of Warcraft.
Like-
I can't lift my arm.
Yeah.
They clip through your face.
Yeah.
I would say that at a certain point, you're going to have to be the artist, right? You're going to have to make a decision on something. And if it's not, like, and who's to say that it's not correct? And,
Right,
and
right.
especially if anyone ever comes up to you and says, hey, that's the wrong version, or that's not, you can say, well, this is how I made it. So,
Or tell them, please show me the reference you found
yeah.
to prove that I'm
Or
wrong.
I'd love to see your version of
Yeah.
this that
Uh,
you made.
Here's a good classic example that Brittany knows all too well, because Brittany had to try and 3D model this.
Sailor Moon
This is Sailor Moon,
and her magical skirt.
and she has a wonderful magical skirt. Now, notice how her, we're going to zoom in on her crotch region here. Notice how her skirt flares up at the sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at that from the side, you would get nothing but leg, just all the way up, right? But, and I can't find a side view of her, but if you look at her in the show from a side view, the skirt magically is dipping down on the side of her leg. Like it rotates with the camera.
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse ears do that too.
Mickey Mouse's ears just cruise with the camera. They're always facing the camera no matter what. With 2D animation especially, they cheat on that stuff all the time, and it is impossible to recreate in the real world. So you've got to just cheat it yourself. Ted looks like he has stuff to say. Yes, he does.
Everything.
And then CS Cosplay wants to know, Bill and Rob, how tall are you?
5'9.5".
5'9.25". That's fine. I'm 2 minutes older. Oh,
So
Joseph.
Rob had longer to cook.
Yeah, probably. Joseph has. Here's the rest of his question. Finally, I want to make a cast so that it's lighter. I have the 3D program Blender, but it is a bit confusing. Yep, it's kind of tricky to use. Any other alternatives? And what specific material should I use for the castings? And finally, what is the overall estimate time? I have no idea how long it's going to take you. None whatsoever. You're going to have
more than your
longest
estimate. Yes.
Yeah. Blender is free, which is great, but it is a little overwhelming. 123D Design is really good. We have a bunch of videos in our 3D printing series all about using that. Worth checking out. You guys should totally watch those. And then what material? What did you use to slush cast your Iron Man hand?
Smoothcast something.
65D.
There we go.
Is what you're looking. It's the answer I was looking for.
Numbers in a letter.
C+ at best, Rob. Yeah, that's a good one for slush casting. Smoothcast, Onyx, Fast. It's easy for you to say.
Names. Give you
It's
the
pretty good too.
It's fast.
For slush casting, if you're going to mold and cast those pieces. Or Smoothcast 300 is a pretty good overall general purpose stuff. But Smoothcast website, Smooth-On's website has videos on all that stuff. So
Make it out of foam.
or just make it all out of foam. There you go. Good luck, Joseph.
Yeah.
Sounds like an ambitious project. All right. We have about 5 minutes left here. We're just going to cruise through a couple more questions, and then we're going to eat the ham that's in the oven right now. King Barry the Great wants to know if you guys all got the short peps in the cosplay army at the front. Oh, they're talking about the
put the shorties up front and then step it taller.
Yeah, talking about the I think it means peeps.
Peeps. Yeah.
In the our army,
like in a concert chorus.
Right, or stadium seating.
Yeah.
They'd all still have to
Brittany
be
knows.
taller than us.
Yeah. Well, Brittany would be in the back.
Yeah. Where everyone
Twisted says, what about Smoothcast 300? Yeah, Smoothcast 300 is a really good general purpose urethane resin for most of your casting needs.
Cure slower.
Slower than what?
65D.
The cure the same.
Does it?
They're the same pot life. Yeah, it's got a different viscosity. Yeah. There you go, King Barry the Great. That's a good idea. This must be why you're so great.
Where are you going?
Venger has a question. Have you ever heard of glass microspheres? I have. Do you know what those are?
I mean, I have an idea. It's like a marble.
Is it like
Really tiny, micro, really
Glass,
tiny.
micro,
Yep.
sphere. Yeah.
kind of
But
a round
why?
shape?
I get the how.
See, I've seen them used a couple times by Doug from the SV Seeker YouTube channel, where he used them in casting. The spheres help reduce the final product weight and use less casting material. Yeah, there's a bunch of different filler materials you can use with urethane casting, including your micro balloons.
Yeah, the balloon. It's actually something that our father used to use when doing epoxy work on sailboats.
Yep, to make them lighter and to take up some more space. You don't.
Oh.
They stay in there.
Oh, but they're not solid.
Yeah. It's basically like putting bubbles into it on purpose, but a lot of them. I don't use it very much because I don't do a lot of casting where I need to worry too much about the weight or how much resin I'm using. But for some purposes, it is very, very useful. Yes. CS Cosplay is pointing out, I would have to shrink in. I'm 5'11". Oh, that's why they were asking how tall we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For our Old
For our
Republic
legions, for our recruitment
Legion
purposes.
of Army. Darth Gaming has a question. Let's see here. Hi, Bill. I'm almost finished on my Mando armor.
Sweet.
All of my pieces are painted black, but I need to put red lines through the armor. Any suggestions? The helmet is looking awesome, and I referred to your videos quite a few times.
Sweet.
Let's use stripe tape.
You could, yeah, that's a good idea.
Like
To
auto detailing tape.
Yeah.
Like,
your vinyl detail.
If it's just straight lines, it'd be
Yeah.
a good thing to use.
Here you go. We'll have a link to this in the show notes. Let's see here, web browser. This is pretty great. Vinyl tape comes in different thicknesses: 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch, 3/4 inch. I'm sure you can get it in a lot of different colors too. But it's used for detailing cars.
makes them go faster.
Oh, way faster.
You don't want to put some flame stickers on that
Yeah.
too? I mean,
Yeah.
all out.
That's the easiest and quickest way to put a thin, consistent line on your armor.
That's what we used on Mega Man, right?
Yeah, I wanted to give him a cell shaded look, so I took striping tape and put it on all the edges.
Yes. See if I can find a Mega Man. That was a while ago.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago.
That's probably before you started your page.
Oh, up,
It's on
left,
Left?
up.
there. One
There it
bit.
is.
Oh, there it is. There we go.
It's not the best photo, but there it is.
No. Yeah, it's kind of hard to tell, but there are some thin lines on there. That'll work out really well. And if you want a more permanent solution, you could just mask off all the lines. Boy, our light is dying. We're getting really dark here. You could mask off all those lines and spray paint them.
Here.
Or you could be, you guys ever watch pinstriping?
You
or
could just
artists?
you could just paint
be
them straight,
amazing.
perfectly
Yeah,
straight.
yeah.
Yeah. Let's could end with a.
Striping.
Oh man,
artists.
this is
Maybe
some Zen stuff.
Even when they do it on
Not-
their fingernails, people who like do designs on fingernails.
Pin,
it's-
maybe.
Yeah, but I have to put lines like when I'm teaching, like I'm just trying to make a grid on the board. I'm like, all right, just a straight line there. Ah!
You know what I've heard? My students have said like, oh, just look where you're going. So like,
Oh yeah.
don't look at your line.
But
just
if
be like,
I'm drawing two lines though, I'll watch one and I'll watch the next one, cross the first one somehow.
Yeah, this is pinstriping. These are the guys that do like gas tanks on motorcycles and stuff. And it's all freehanded because they're crazy.
Just
do
that.
Just do that.
Let's see here. Solo Smith Armory says, I actually just finished a Mando suit using the techniques from your book, and I had the red lines down the sides using tape. Very good. Cool.
There we go. Come.
That is a win, I think, and we should end on a high note because our light is dying, apparently. And we're going to get out of here. We're going to go eat some ham.
Ham time. Well, almost ham time. We got to make some stuffing.
Yes.
And actually, I got some
Oh.
appetizers I
Right.
didn't tell you about. Oh, can we end with a gift?
Yes.
I got you a gift.
You did? Oh,
you-
are we going to open
Oh.
this on
Yeah.
Hope it's appropriate.
It is
It's a
appropriate.
It's a dong.
I wrapped it myself. That's why.
All right,
Pretty.
you guys.
Brittany. So helpful.
I really know what this is. Did you actually go buy another one of these? Or is
No,
this
that's the second one you got me.
Really?
Yeah.
The joke is, this is a character from World of Warcraft, and I found it, and Rob, I was really excited because I was like, that's perfect. Rob will love it, and I bought it for him for Christmas. And the next year, I saw it again, and I was like, that's perfect for Rob, and I bought him the same thing again. So this is the second one?
That's the second
All
one.
right.
The first one's on a shelf over there next to
I am so
Succubus.
thoughtful. I think the battery's dying on that light, right? That's the problem. Anyway, we're going to get out of your hair, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us this evening. Tomorrow's Christmas. I hope you guys...
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve.
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. It's
Today's Christmas, Adam.
I don't know what
Christmas Adam.
know what day of the week it is. But anyway, we're gonna play with this little guy. But anyway, thanks for hanging out with us and our family this evening and this whole year. You guys have been awesome. We'll do another show next week. Again, it's going to be on New Year's Eve, so we may do it a day early again. We'll see. Stay tuned for that. But thanks for hanging out. We'll see you guys on the next episode of Prop Live. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.